Des clarifications pour vous par rapport au programme sur les chambres d'isolement. C'est quoi exactement pour les gens qui ne savent pas?
C'est mon connaissance qu'il y avait un programme pour des gens qui doivent isoler, mais qui ne peuvent pas isoler chez eux. Donc il y avait le programme depuis mars ou avril, mais il y a beaucoup de gens qui ont fait avantage de ce programme.
Et c'est pour qui exactement?
Et c'est premièrement, c'est pour les gens sans habillement, pour homeless people, mais aussi il y a des opportunités pour isolation pour des voyageurs, mais pour nous, la chose la plus importante est l'opportunité d'isolation pour les gens qui habitent dans les maisons avec beaucoup des autres gens. Peut-être des maisons avec les grands-parents ou peut-être avec beaucoup des autres travailleurs. Et il y a une occasion pour eux d'isoler dans une des hôtels. Il y a peut-être 4 ou 500 chambres ici disponibles à Calgary. Et donc, si c'est difficile pour vous d'isoler, vous avez l'occasion de prendre avantage d'une chambre d'isolation gratuite.
Je vais avoir des questions, mais après, je ne vais pas prendre tout le temps, mais je vais avoir des questions.
Okay.
Did you want to answer that in English, sir?
No.
Oh.
Yes, so,
Changes?
no, not really, but there is availability. So what has happened is since the spring, there has been availability for isolation for people who test positive but are not able to isolate at home, which includes homeless people, it includes travelers, and it also includes people who live in an environment where they can't have their own bedroom and bathroom. So if you have a whole bunch of roommates, for example, or if you're living in a multi-generational home with your grandparents, there has been very low pickup on this, very low. And so one of the things that we really want to encourage people is that the province has increased the supply of these isolation rooms. And you know, there's food involved as well, and I know that they want to ramp this up very significantly. But for now, if you are in a position where you can't have your own bedroom and bathroom at home, but you test positive, you should contact 811 and ask about your options with an isolation room.
So don't feel like you don't have options.
You absolutely have options, and there are rooms available, and please do take advantage of them. I know it's hard. I know you don't want to move grandma and grandpa out of the home, for example, if they're involved in childcare, but for 2 weeks, if we can keep people as isolated as possible, that'll do a lot to flatten the curve.
Given what was said on Friday regarding contact tracing, I know that you have mentioned in the past the city has offered, you've had meetings with people in the towers downtown. What are your thoughts about the progress that the province is making on contact tracing, hiring new people?
Look, the contact tracing program in Alberta broke a month ago. This is unconscionable. We can't operate blind, we can't operate without data, and there's people out there who don't know that they've been in close contact with someone who's tested positive. So I've been frustrated and I've been pushing very hard that we can't operate on AHS time or government time with getting this thing ramped back up. But I was very happy to hear, even over the weekend, that they seem to be moving much more quickly and they've got a lot of new contract tracers in place. But that's a great question for Dr. Hinshaw to see if that's moving as fast as it needs to.
But I know that you put forward information to them. Has there been any responses from the province?
Yes. They have taken the ideas that we put forward from the city and they moved on them. Those are ideas around hiring in bulk, quote unquote, with employers who have a lot of people who've been laid off right now, as well as working with international medical graduates and other groups of people who are fluent in different languages to improve the efficiency of the program.
So are city employees not part of the solution?
Not city employees yet.
The health minister said that cabinet is going to be considering, potential for more restrictions next week on the 15th.
Yeah, we can't wait that long. I appreciate that the health minister is trying to take a data-driven approach, and I believe in evidence-based decision making, but at some point you have to make a decision. And you cannot have analysis paralysis. And look, we are way beyond the time where we even have 24 hours to spare. Decisions have to be made today, they have to be made tomorrow, and we've got to work incredibly hard on flattening this curve.
Are there any other levers the city can pull to help flatten the curve?
You know, as I've said before, I'm not interested in distracting people with politics. Nobody has time for politics right now. And no one has time for a jurisdictional battle right now. The good news is I think that the province and the city are aligned on what needs to happen. If we are not, then my number one duty as the mayor is to protect the health of the citizens of Calgary who put their trust in me. And whether or not I have the black line jurisdictional authority to do that, the city will have to act without the province, but I hope it doesn't come to that.
With the situation being so dire, I guess, how frustrating is it for you to see yet another freedom rally outside City Hall this weekend? A lot of people marching. How frustrating is that for you then, the situation?
You have every right to be an idiot. What you don't have the right to do is you don't have the right to harass shopkeepers. You don't have the right to scare people away from downtown and from those stores at their busiest time of year, and you don't have the right to expose your children to this. This is flagrant behavior that puts other people at risk. And I said it last week, it is selfish, it is indulgent, we do not have the luxury for it, and we have far better things we should be doing with our time than dealing with these people.
I guess, what's the challenge now? Because there are a lot of people who are frustrated saying, we're hearing a lot about the police are going to be enforcing stuff, and we're hearing not much enforcement has happened yet from the both rallies that have happened this week.
Well, I don't wear a uniform, and we don't live in a world where politicians can tell people in uniforms what to do, but I was very heartened when I heard from the chief of police and our chief bylaw officer that the time for education is over and the time for serious enforcement of those who are putting others at risk is here. So I look forward to seeing how many tickets were issued on the rally this weekend.
Given that you do not direct the police, though, do you understand why the police would be providing an escort for such an event?
I have asked that question this morning. I'll let you know what answer I get.
Because I would think of many other illegal gatherings, and there would not be a police escort.
Well, and the other thing we have to remember is under the Alberta government's Bill 1 last year, blocking a road is an illegal act.
So, is that a question that you're having with the chief of police, that there's a law there now?
It is a question that I have raised.
Can I ask you about the Integrity Commissioner's comment this morning? That she doesn't want to meet with individual members of council. Is that the correct way to proceed?
I don't quite think I heard her say that. I think she said she doesn't want to create a relationship with members of council, which is correct. I think that's right. But I do think it's helpful for council and for her to have some preliminary discussions around her role, which I think is totally fine. Council members may go to the ethics advisor if they have questions, and the ethics advisor should be able to manage those. But if they have questions that are work-related for the Integrity Commissioner, I don't have any problem with them having those conversations.
Do you have any awareness of whether any files were passed from the previous Integrity Commissioner, or is she starting with a blank slate?
Well, I don't believe any files were passed from the previous Integrity Commissioner, but remember that we had several months of the city auditor looking after this, and the city auditor's terms of reference were, if it's complicated, leave it for the next Integrity Commissioner. So I don't know actually if the city auditor has complaints that she's received. If she has, those will pass on to Ms. Whitaker right away.
Do you happen to know if Councilor Maglioka has repaid that amount that the council last discussed?
I don't know.
His error.
I don't actually know, so I will follow up on that. Been a little busy.
Peut-être d'autres questions si c'est fini
Oui.
en haut. Peut-être, ce que je veux comprendre, c'est est-ce que ces maisons, ces chambres d'hôtel d'isolement, ce sont aussi pour les colocs, les colocs qui vivent ensemble?
Yeah, c'est vraiment pour quelqu'un qui n'est pas isolé chez eux. C'est vraiment la règle numéro 1 pour ça. Donc, peut-être c'est possible pour quelqu'un avec beaucoup de colocataires. I didn't know that word before, merci. Beaucoup de colocataires, mais c'est vraiment pour des gens qui habitent dans les maisons multigénérationnelles.
Puis ils doivent avoir un test positif. Comment ça fonctionne? et où ils doivent aller pour avoir ce
Oui, il faut avoir un test positif. Peut-être, je ne sais pas, mais peut-être c'est aussi pour les gens qui avaient des contacts très proches, mais qui attendent les résultats d'examen maintenant.
OK. Puis pourquoi c'est si important d'avoir ces chambres et qu'elles soient utilisées dans la lutte à la pandémie?
Parce que c'est peut-être si on pense à des élèves de niveau primaire, il y a beaucoup de problèmes avec les écoles primaires, mais c'est possible que les petits enfants peuvent retourner chez eux et peut-être faire des infections avec ses grands-parents. Donc c'est important d'arrêter toutes les causes d'infection dans la maison.
Et ma dernière question, c'est où est-ce que je peux prendre l'information si je suis quelqu'un qui en a besoin pour ça?
Maintenant, on travaille avec tous les agents sociaux de Calgary pour partager ces informations. Mais maintenant, la chose le plus efficace de faire ça est simplement d'appeler 811. Et il y a des gens à 811 qui peuvent parler ou qui peuvent traduire dans beaucoup de langues.
Et c'est gratuit.
Et c'est gratuit.
OK.
Just to be clear, the number of rooms the province has made available.
You know, I shouldn't say because I don't. I was told this weekend, and I don't have it right on top of my head, but it's in the multiple hundreds, not 1,000.
So, sorry, from how much to?
I don't know. That's a provincial government question.
And can you just talk a bit about what today's meeting is about?
Is today's meeting about something?
Planning for 2021.
It's a difficult thing because normally we have a meeting at the end of December to talk about our strategic priorities for the next year and how we're going to move through these strategic meetings in that year. The problem we've got today, of course, is we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it's hard for us to determine what will be our priorities in April. All of that said, we have to be able to chew and walk gum, I was going to say. We have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. So while we're focused on dealing with the pandemic and the economic crisis, we also do need to think about what's coming forward. Even though it's an election year, it's still 1/4 of this council's term to go. And so we've got a lot of work left to do.
Expect we'll learn much by the end of the day, or is it all going to stay?
Yeah, probably not. This is pretty inside baseball today.
Will we learn more about Chief Henry's briefing?
I think there was nothing in that briefing that you don't already know.
It's already happened.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.